Hello everybody, Chef Michael Roddy here from Davidson's Safest Choice, ready to talk to you about how easy it is to whisk our egg whites from our pasteurized shell eggs into meringue to finish a pie. We have for you our pasteurized eggs in the shell. As I said, we're going to separate those out and use the whites. Then we have our sugar and cream of tartar. Again, very basic ingredients, anybody can do this. First thing I'm going to do is separate our eggs. And whenever we do that, I like to make sure that we crack the egg on a flat surface. It eliminates the splintering. So if we crack it on a point, we push broken shell into the egg, which helps it to break also other shells that we have to track down throughout our egg whites. So cracking the egg on a flat surface, separating it out from shell to shell. And these eggs, incidentally, we like to use a room temperature egg that allows us to achieve maximum volume to our meringue. Very important now that whenever I crack one white, I'm going to move it to another container because that oil, the yolk contains oil, which helps to not allow the meringue to reach its maximum capacity. So along that line as well, we want to make sure that all the bowls and all the utensils and everything that you're using are clean. And you notice as I'm doing this, I'm losing some egg white and so forth. Not a big deal for the recipe, but also not a big deal because our eggs are pasteurized. So there's no chance of any cross-contamination going on if the egg, when you crack it, is going to splash. So there's no chance of getting any egg white or any potential foodborne illness-causing bacteria into anything else that you're making or around your home. So from this point, now I have my 4 egg whites that I will use to make the meringue. And what I'm going to do, typically with a regular egg, we can't do this because it's not pasteurized. So I'm just wiping my hands off with a paper towel, and I can still go through and touch anything if I choose to because our eggs are pasteurized and there's no chance of passing on any foodborne illness. So from this point, I'm going to take my egg whites, to the clean mixer and start to whisk them into the meringue. And I'll go through a couple of different steps and features that we're going to hit there as we hit the mixer. And now we're ready to turn our egg whites into meringue. So what we're going to do is make sure, again, all of our equipment is nice and clean. And we're going to add our egg whites into the mixer at a moderate speed to start out. We're going to let the egg whites go. After we turn it up, we're going to let them go for 30 seconds before we add the cream of tartar. And then after we add the cream of tartar, we're going to let this go until we reach soft peak stage, which we're going to show you that. Now we're back with the soft peak. You can see how it holds a light peak. It falls. 6 minutes later, that's what we get for the soft peak before we start to add our sugar into the meringue. Now I'm going to go back through and gradually add the sugar, getting us to our stiff peak. Here we are, 2 minutes later. From whisking our meringue with the sugar added after soft peaks, we have a wonderful stiff peak for your traditional meringue pie. Just a little tip, make sure you scrape the bowl periodically as you're whisking that meringue. And now to finish up our meringue pie process. Very, very important that you have a very hot pie filling because that's going to allow the eggs, whenever they connect with the filling, to start to cook and adhere so it doesn't slide all around. And we'll talk about a couple of other finishing techniques with that as well to keep the meringue in place. But the first thing we want to do is show how wonderful our pasteurized egg whites whip up. So stiff, so nice, so light and fluffy. So no deterrent there with using a pasteurized egg at all in achieving the proper meringue consistency that you're looking for. So a couple of different ways you can finish. If you don't want to use a pastry bag, you can easily go in with a spatula, spoon some of it right on top of the pie and smooth it out with a spatula. What I'm going to do for you today is show you how to use a pastry bag and a couple of the tips that revolve around that. So in using a pastry bag, everybody likes the little effect that we give to meringue pies. It has those high peaks and high corners and so forth. It's going to allow you to get nice color and contrast. And by using a pastry bag with a star tip, it's going to allow you to achieve those features very, very easily. So there we go. Open it up. Squeeze your meringue down to the top, down to the front of the tip. See just where it starts to come out. You want to twist your bag off, and we're just going to start to add little stars to this. Different ways you can do it. If you want to add stars all the way around, little rosettes, and then build up the middle. And the meringue recipe that we gave you for the 4 eggs gives you enough, as you can see, to do 1 pie. And what I'm going to do is go around the edges, because putting the meringue right to the edge of the pie is what's going to seal it to the edges. Again, just like adding it to the top of the hot pie is going to secure it to the pie so that we don't have any problems with it sliding around. At this point, you can finish up any extra meringue, fill in any spots that might be open on the pie. And again, you can pick your design that you want to put to this. You can use roses, you can use shell borders, what have you. At this point, I'm going to take the pie back into a 400-degree oven to finish up for the browning process of the meringue. And here we are, back with our traditional style meringue pie, right out of the 400-degree oven for about 7 to 10 minutes. Again, it depends how your oven sets. As you can see, beautiful traditional style meringue pie, great eye appeal, great contrast in textures with the golden brown and the white, everything you would want from meringue pie. The thing we need to let it do now is set up. It's going to have to sit, depending upon the style of pie that you're making, about 2 hours under refrigeration so that the custard sets, and then we're able to cut it and present it. So for your lesson in meringue, I appreciate you joining me here on Eggs Up, and we look forward to seeing you again. Join us next time.